Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another issue of Mortal Realms magazine. As per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and drop a comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys and it goes a long way to help the channel too. So without further ado, we are on issue 63 this week and we have the Judicators. These models also make a different set, so it could be worth you buying two sets and 2 copies of a magazine, so you can have 5 of each build set that you can get with it. So you can have the Thunderbolt crossbows or you can have the actual great bows themselves, which are pretty cool as well. Both very cool Stormcast units, very nice, and a lot of parts as well for these guys, so they can be slightly multi-posed and everything like that. So really good stuff. Different options as well for things like the heads and the actual helmets for the Stormcast, so you can choose different sections, and of course you've got the good old prime as well there to go with it all. But yeah, very good stuff. I must admit I'm looking forward to getting going with these guys as well, so which is always quite nice to have some more models for the ever-growing pile of plastic that needs to be painted. Right, with the issue as well, what you'll get is you'll get your normal 5 bases, and you will also get this base as well. So this is of course one that was missing from issue 59 of Mortal Realms, and just rectifying the error that they made. So fingers crossed there will be no more errors, because we are soon going to be running out of issues where they have the opportunity to actually fix the problems with things like that. So of course you got that little note, so chuck that away. Into the issue, of course, we're greeted by a page about the Stormcast Eternal Judicators. So none can hide from the Judicators. These Azurite archers wield the power of the storm, and they dispatch the wicked from afar with searing arrows and bolts. Judicators are the core range support unit in every storm host. They are merciless, disciplined troops who cut down enemies from a distance with a variety of ranged weapons, all of which use lightning-charged ammunition that pierces armour and sears flesh. So, Judicators, pretty cool. The artwork there is, of course, the Celestial Vindicators, which are very nice units, and a very nice teal paste colour scheme, which if you're going to do it, I've done a video on it before, use Incubi Darkness as a kind of base coat over the top of your primer, and then Sotek Green gives it a very nice look, and of course using some pale blues and everything like that for highlights can get you some real nice looks. If you wanted to though, you can of course use good old contrast paint to do it, which if you do, you just need there's certain types, and you can make it a very metallic kind of looking if you paint it all with Stormhouse Silver and then cover over with the blue over the top of it. You could do that with it, which is actually not a bad idea in all honesty. Cool. So of course they are versatile dealers of death. So Judicators have proven their worth time and again over years of warfare. Skilled commanders of every storm host use the Judicators' ranged prowess in combination with other specialised units in a variety of formations. The results are always deadly. So you can have the Thunderhead Brotherhood, so Judicators fighting alongside Liberators in battalions. The shield-wielding Liberators protect their ranged comrades, who can then attack enemies freely, which is a pretty cool idea and way of doing things. There is the Vanguard Wing. So a Vanguard Wing battalion uses several squads of winged prosecutors who inspire the Judicators to smite the foe even harder. And then of course there is the Devastation Brotherhood, which uses a deadly battalion of Judicators to provide covering fire for indomitable formation of paladins. Foes are then finished off in a crash of blades and mauls with those, so you can use the paladins alongside the Judicators and for the Devastation Brotherhood, which is a pretty cool way of doing it as well. Entirely up to you however you want to do your battalions. With the Judicators though, they have of course different ways of doing it, so you can have them with Sky Bolt bows or Shock Bolt bows, which are, you know, pretty much identical. So there's no real difference in there apart from the actual charged weapon itself and the bow that it's firing. So Skybolt bows are long-range weapons that fire magical arrows. These arrows transform into lightning during the flight and can break the thickest armour. Shock bolt bows are, of course, charged with an incredible amount of celestial energy, and when the arrows shot by these bows find their mark, they explode into storm of lightning that jolts through groups of enemies. And then, of course, there are the crossbow style weapons, which there is the Boltstorm crossbows, which are pretty cool. So Boltstorm crossbows sacrifice some of the range and armor penetration of Skybolt bows for incredible increase in the rate of fire, and it fires them kind of like a rapid fire essentially. And there is also the Thunderbolt crossbows as well, which is the heavy version of a crossbow. Equally as cool, very, very nice, and yeah, very, very good ranged units for the Stormcast Eternals as well. Moving on though, of course, we have a page about the Forces of Destruction. This is the Gloomspite Gits and the Grots, to be precise, which are the Goblins. And Grots, of course, are little, they are wily, they are sometimes a little bit loony. So there is the Loon King and the they kind of the Loon bosses, and they have different forms. With Grots as well, they can be added into a lot of different destruction armies. So whether it's with Ogres, whether it's with Orcs and Oryx, you can combine them, or you can have them as a force on their own with Troggoths and everything like that as well. So they can be a little bit nutty with these guys. They are pretty cool, though, which is pretty ace. They prefer to swarm enemies as well. So if you are going to have an army of these guys, get quite a lot of them, because then you can just have them all swarming against certain enemies, use multiple to take one enemy down and stuff like that. Always a good shout. How to build, follow the instructions. It's up to you how you want to build it. So you can build it with the Skybolt bows or the crossbow if you wanted to. Entirely up to you. Your choice. Really, really is. You can build it how you want to. If you are going to build it in a different way, so if you're going to build it with crossbows, you can always try and kind of file down areas of the bow and arrow, and you could utilize them as part of objective markers if you wish to as well, which is always pretty handy when you've got these extra parts. Same with the extra pauldrons and helmets, you can use them as parts of objective markers if you wanted to as well, which is always good fun. But once you're done, of course, you'll be left with a good troop of warriors to add to your Stormcast ranks. If you wish to, though, as I say, buy 2 copies of the magazine, get 2 lots of them, and have some fun with them. Why not? How to paint section, very, very standard. Stormcast Eternals, you can't go wrong with them. So paint them how you've been painting them to fit in with your army. So for me, it'll be the lines of Sigmar, and you can't go too far wrong. There are different ways that they recommend painting things like the crossbow, but ultimately it's down to you, down to yourself. Entirely up to you how you want to paint it. Do it your way, whatever fits your style and everything like that, and you'll be happy as Larry with them ones. But when they're finished, they will look pretty damn cool, and they are ready. Just make sure you base them up quite nicely. If you wish to, there are things like bases that you can get online. So for instance, I bought a bunch of these bases, so they are textured, so to look like cobblestone streets and everything like that. They are very, very glossy because they are a resin, so they needed washing as soon as I received them. But I'm using these for Curse City, but you can get things like that online quite easily, and pretty handy to have as well with them ones, so they're pretty cool. Going forward though, of course, we're carrying on with some more of the rules. So this is giving some of the Order Allegiance abilities. So an Artifacts of Power, so Quicksilver Potions, Relic Blades, and the Phoenix Stone itself are rare items that can be used and utilised for your Forces of Order and everything like that as well. And of course, fair rules for them as well, which is always pretty cool. And use them wisely, and you can have a lot of fun with these guys. Make sure you add that to your core rules. You've got the Death Allegiance abilities as well, so they have Cloak of Mists and Shadows, Black Amulet, and Tomb Blades. So the Tomb Blades are a pretty evil weapon that steals life energy, so you can use it to kind of revitalise your undead units and recover wounds and stuff like that as well, which is pretty cool. Pretty tough to do, but of course you've got to be a bit how to use their abilities as well just on there, which is pretty damn cool. Your War Scroll for your Judicators, so as you can see, you've got a mixture of different weapons and everything like that. So including the melee weapon of the Storm Gladius as well. This is so you can get use of all of them, no matter how much, which way you've built them, because they are the same unit no matter what. Just make sure you are using them for the correct way as well. So whether it's crossbow, whether it's the Thunderbolt crossbow and stuff like that, make sure you're using it the way it's intended, really. And yeah, you can't go too far wrong with all of that, but that one's pretty cool. And of course, using all the different abilities and everything like that, so Chain Lightning, Rapid Fire, and the Thunderbolt crossbow as well, to keep you going. And then moving on to the battle plan itself, we have Vengeance from the Vault. So, Vorden had been Lord Relictor for almost a century, but he had never been permitted inside the Forbidden Armory until today. So with this one, choose your forces quite wisely. So whether you want to go for heroes and troops and everything like that, you'll be picking out some of these, and same with your Nighthaunt and everything like that as well. So you'll be picking out 3 choices from the Nighthaunt hero list, and 2 choices from the troops for your Nighthaunt, and pretty much exactly the same for Stormcast Eternals. So if you're going for the Stormcast, you could have any of those heroes, which is pretty cool. So Lord Arcanum and Celestial Dracoline, you could have a Lord Ordinator, you could have Lord Exorcist and stuff like that, which is a pretty cool one. I do like the idea of having Lord Exorcist going with Lord Relictor, for instance, and the Night Quester, accompanied by your Judicators and, say, the Retributors or the Liberators, going up against some of your forces of good old Nighthaunt. Get them on the battle map that we got with last issue that was, you know, late as well, and, you know, get your terrain on there as well if you wish to. As you can see, they have spaces for some of the other terrain, which is coming much later on in a fair few issues time, which is pretty cool. And yeah, that's it really. So pretty nice one. Have good fun with it and enjoy your playing. Next issue, we have some Nighthaunt reinforcements, which are the Grimghast Reapers. We've already had 5 of them before, quite a few issues ago, so we're getting 5 more to go with the full set. Pretty cool stuff. And then issue 65, we get some replenishment of certain paints, which is Corax White and Nilikai Oxide. You're going to need them, in all honesty, if you're painting up the Nighthaunt in that way that they are in there. I personally, Corax White is fantastic and definitely always needed. Nilikai Oxide, I must admit, I don't use it very often, so I have about 4 pots of the stuff now, weirdly. Soon to be 5, apparently. So, fun stuff. Other than that, I just wanted to say thank you very much for your support. We've hit over 350 subscribers on the channel, which is fantastic, and I didn't think that would ever happen, really, when I first kind of started doing this stuff last year. And yeah, good fun. I'll be back tomorrow with some more good old Warhammer Fest 2021 online reveals from whatever happens tomorrow with the box games. I'm not doing one tonight because it is just for books. I will go through everything tomorrow though in tomorrow's video. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye bye now.